Danny Segura for MMA Junkie. I'm here with former Bellator champion Sergio Pettis, who is set to return on October 3rd at PFL Championship Series 3 against Magomed Magomedov. Sergio, first of all, how are you, brother? How's life? How's everything going?
Man, life is going good. I appreciate the interview today. Just been busy, man. I got a kid. Just had my kid like 10 days ago, so
Oh, wow.
getting used to that parent lifestyle on top of balancing out a training camp. So it's been interesting, but making some adjustments for sure.
Nice. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
First baby?
Yeah, first boy in our
Okay.
family. Actually, both my brothers got girls, so I got lucky, man. I hit that right position or something. Got the boy. Yes, sir. First pets in the family.
Nice.
We're keeping the
Nice, nice.
last one. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's a big life change. How has it been, gearing up to a pretty important fight and also, having your firstborn?
Yeah, man, both big events, obviously. I'm trying to take both of them very seriously, be present for both of them. It's been interesting for sure, though. My sleep schedule was definitely dedicated towards my lifestyle, towards training. And now that this little guy's here, he's got the opposite schedule. He's pretty much on jet lag time. He's up at night, sleeping during the day. Thank God I got an amazing wife that really helpful and understands, how important this fight is to me. So she's been, allowing me to try to balance it a little bit better, getting me a little bit more sleep than she's getting at the moment. But it's been interesting, man. I
Yeah.
learned a lot as a parent.
Um, and I apologize for not knowing this, but I know the fight's in Dubai. But at what
Yep.
time is the fight? So
Honestly, I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. I'm not sure the time. I'm
okay,
not. All I know is it's on Friday, October 3rd, and I got to be there. So we'll
because
see how it
if
goes.
if it's geared towards American time, honestly, the baby might be a blessing in that sense as
Oh
well. If he's if
yeah,
he's getting you up early, getting you accustomed to the new time zone.
yeah, it's true. I didn't even think about it that way. So yeah, maybe if that's the route, I'll be ready. Maybe it happened for a reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're probably ready to go now. Yeah, that's
uh,
awesome, man. Well, congrats on the
Thank you.
baby. That's big. But let's talk about this fight. What's at stake here? Obviously, it's a big fight. Magomed Magomedov is a big name. Your former champion, certainly a big fight in the division. But PFL has this very unique system, right, with a tournament, and then they also have the championship series. We've seen in some divisions like we see, Costello, a middleweight champion, but then Fabian Edwards, tournament winner,
Yep.
right? Patchy Mix left PFL. So, I don't know what happened to that belt exactly, but what happens here? What's at stake? Have they kind of clarified the situation for you?
I mean, honestly, they haven't clarified the situation. I've been told that obviously it might be a title shot, which I think it's very acceptable. For me and Magomed Magomedov, even Rafian Stotts, we were all close to fighting for that belt before he got transitioned over to PFL. But as of right now, man, it's looking like Magomed Magomedov, and nothing's set in stone after. I think I'm gonna be in the tournament next year for sure. So I'm not sure how they're gonna make that layout work. Champion, versus like contender type thing, or yeah, I'm not really too sure the layout of things. All I know is Magomed Magomedov, October 3rd, and I've been watching this guy for a while, so I'm very familiar with his style and how much of a beast he is. So it's a big fight for me for sure.
Yeah. So you don't know if they're gonna, I guess, reinstate what was Patchy Mix's belt, or they're just gonna keep the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
They haven't really told me too
Okay.
much on that end. So all I know is I'm back to fighting. It took a while off, so I'm just as long as I got some fights, that's all I care about. I,
Yeah.
I got a baby to take care of now too, so
Yeah,
all
that's right.
these
Yeah.
pampers and formula add up.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are not cheap.
Uh,
Um, but if you had it your way, what do you prefer? Do you have interest in diving into the tournament and doing that, experiencing that, or do you like sort of what you were doing over in Bellator, which is like the typical regular matchmaking type of
yeah. I mean, I'm
fighting?
open to both. I'm open to both
Mhm.
styles actually. I was supposed to be in a tournament back in 2022 for Bellator. Unfortunately, I tore my ACL, so I missed out on a chance of competing 3 or 4 times in one year and making a big bag at the end of it. So I'm not opposed to that scenario. If next year they want me to be in the tournament to get my title shot, I got to win a couple fights, win the bag, and then go for the belt. So be it. I'm okay with that. I'm in this sport for the long run, man. I've been this will be my 14th year in a couple days of professional fighting. I started right when I was 18, right out of high school. So, this is any way that they do it, I'm okay with. I've been around for a while now. As long as I get to perform, get busy, and take advantage of this time. I'm 32 years old. I got a couple years left, so definitely trying to stay active. A tournament will keep me active
Yeah, that's the good thing about the tournament. You're definitely going to get some fights, a lot of fights.
for sure.
Yeah, that was one complaint, right, from people in general. Like I know Aaron Pico had that complaint, Patricio as well, even Patchy. Like they weren't very active. I know you were injured, so There's that as well. But how has the experience been now being under the, and you had a Ryzen fight as well.
Yep.
How has the experience been over in PFL on your end?
Yeah, I mean, things have been good now that I got back in the game. It was a little uncertain for a bit, not having a fight or not knowing what organization I was in at the time, because I went from Bellator. Then they switched over. So I went over to Ryzen for like a one-off fight. Had a couple boxing fights just to stay busy, keep myself from going crazy and being bored. And yeah, I mean, as of right now, things have been good, man. They treat me really well. The last experience I had in Chicago, very professional. Everybody in the back end is really professional. The backstage, a lot of stuff comes together for the fights, not just the main guys. They do a good job overall. I'm very very happy with PFL.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man.
Thank you.
And I'm assuming you saw the tournament, and you saw Alvis's run through it. Very unlikely, right? Came in as the underdog, late
Yeah.
replacement, ended up winning the whole thing. What'd you think? And I'm sure that's a fight that you're probably eyeing out, right?
Oh, for sure, man. It's cool because Alves. I was actually supposed to take that fight with Leandro Higo. They gave me the opportunity. Unfortunately, I had a small injury that I just couldn't push through. That was possibly going to get worse, so I couldn't take the fight. Alves jumped in, took the fight, went out there and just outclassed Leandro, beat all these other guys as well in devastating fashion. I'm a big fan of his style. He's aggressive. He comes to brawl. He's got hands, and I would love a fight like that. A lot of the guys I've been fighting, they just try to take me down and hold me down, stall me out. A fight like that, I think the crowd would like to see, and one that I would like in my career at the moment. At 32 years old, I love to go out there and slug it out and put on a show for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a fun one for sure. But first things first, as we were talking, October 3rd, you got Magomed Magomedov. This you kind of you didn't say this, but it kind of felt like you've been waiting for this fight. You knew this fight was going to come down at some
Sure.
point. Obviously, you guys being top guys in at 135 pounds in Bellator. Um, have you guys had any runnings in the past? Any interactions at events or anything?
Nah, you know what? I've actually never met Magomed
Okay.
Magomedov. Yeah, we've never met each other. We've talked to each other on social media a couple bit here and there, just like, hey, you want to take this fight? Let's fight each other type of thing. But other than that, yeah, I never actually came across him. I heard he's a very, respectable dude. I mean, this is my first time fighting like a Russian fighter, so that's why I was so excited for this one because I've had 32 fights. I fought every other ethnicity. I've never had a chance to fight like a Russian or a Dagestani. So I'd like to see how my style matches up against them. I've seen him be nightmares for a lot of other people's styles. And I just want to see how I do against him. And Magomed, he's a beast, man. I've been watching him for a while. Back when he beat Peter Yan, I was watching him. Or,
Yeah.
even when Peter Yan went back and beat him, I was watching him for quite some time. And then when I got into Bellator, 100% was watching Magomed. He fought my teammate Rafian.
Mhm.
Back in the time I was helping Rafian prepare for those fights. So I'm definitely well aware of him and his game.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty well-rounded guy, can do a bit of everything, right? How do you see the fight going with your skill set? How do you think it's gonna match up and what are you expecting?
Man, I'm expecting pretty much how every one of my fights go. I'm gonna go out there and try to keep the fight standing. And once I get the better of the exchanges and they see that my math is different out there than their math, they're gonna end up going to the floor with me and trying to take me down, stall me out. And I see that him being a very smart, high level fighter, he's gonna do that. He's gonna take the path of least the path of least resistance. And throughout the years, that's where my skill set has shown that I do have some troubles on the takedown defense and the grappling defense as well. So I believe he'll try to take me there, and I'm gonna try to keep it standing. It's gonna be a very technical fight, but at the same time, I think we're gonna be so technical that one of us is gonna have to break rank a little bit and get a little mean and sloppy. So I think it's gonna be it's gonna be a fight where we both
Yeah.
step outside of our comfort zone.
Did when are you still training with Rafian, by the way? You guys
No, we haven't. Rafian, once we were supposed to fight each other back in 2022, he had another kid coming on the way. So he
gotcha.
was like, you know what, I'm going to go back home, back to Houston, Texas. That's where he's from. And yeah, he went back home, got close to his family again and went back to where he belongs. So yeah, man, we
Yeah.
don't train with each other no more, unfortunately. But shit, I might have to hit him up for this camp. I'm like, yo, let me let me get some rounds in, please.
That's what I was gonna tell you. I don't
Yeah,
know
bro.
if when he fought Magomed, that was back in 2021. I don't know if you had any
Yeah, no,
any hand in that
I
camp.
was
Yeah.
training with him. Yeah, I was
Okay.
training with him for Magomed Magomedov actually. So yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe I have to hit a Rafian. I know he's got a couple tricks for the Magomed game. So
He did have success, man. So
for sure, for sure.
it's not a bad shot for sure. How are you guys, by the way? Because obviously you guys were teammates.
Yep.
You guys fought each other. We know that that sometimes can be very weird, and understandably so. We know how that has split literally friendships and a lot of things. But how were things post you guys' fight?
Man, I think me and Rafian are such good friends that even after the fight, we're still chill, man. I saw him right after we've competed. He was in the room literally right next to my room. He comes out with his wife, his brand new baby. After the fight, we just shake hands, hug it out. We're still good friends, man. Competition is competition at the end of the day. We both really didn't want to take that fight, but that was the only option that they gave us. So, me having my kid, him just having his kid recently too, we needed to make that money and get back to work. So we're good, man. We're cordial. I'm very happy how things played out with Rafian. Like that was the first time I went to a fight where I didn't care if I won or lost. I just wanted to try my best, and whatever happens, happens. Rafian's a great dude, a great athlete, great father. So I have a lot of respect for him, and just in general, he's a great dude. So yeah, we're good,
Yeah.
man.
What do you think was the key, or what was exactly the thing that allowed you guys to be amicable and stay cool? Because we've seen like this game when you pair two guys. I mean, it's a fight, right? Like
Yeah.
it's pretty damn personal. John Jones and Rashad Evans, that created a whole rivalry, right? Masvidal and Colby Covington, and you go down the list of how many people have butted heads once they're in the same weight class, and it gets a little weird. Why do you think, and what do you think was the key for you guys to kind of be able to manage this thing the way it
I
should?
just think just personally who we are as humans, like the guys' names you said, like Jorge Masvidal, Kobe Covington, like I just feel like those guys, they're that type of guy, like they're like competitive, nobody fuck with me type of thing, like even if you're my boy, like you step up, I'm gonna still, try to beat you type of thing. Where me and Rafian, I feel like it was just like we both understood the assignment, yeah, man. We both knew this was business. At the end of the day, we separate our business life from our personal life, and I think we did a really good job at that. Keeping it competitive when it's time to be competitive, but outside of that, keeping it how we've been for years, and we've been this way for years, man. He's been a good friend of mine, a good teammate of mine, and I won't change up just because he beat me or if I beat him. It is what it is. May the best man win, and even with that fight, man, it was a close fight, dude. The judges went my way, thankfully. It could have gone either way. It could even been a draw. So it was a close fight, man. But yeah, I'm glad I'm past that. That was the weirdest fight week I've had in my life, and the weirdest fight experience I've had in my life for sure.
Yeah. Guessing you don't want to do it again.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, if it has to
Yeah.
happen, we will do it again because we're those type of guys. But preferably a perfect world, yeah, I'd prefer not to punch a good friend in the face for money.
Yeah, yeah, it must
Yeah,
be a weird thing, right? Like if you have to
yeah,
do it, you have to do it. But yeah, for sure. And something else that I wanted to ask you was, I mentioned some of the names that were kind of not happy with PFL, and since
yeah.
they've crossed over to the UFC, and some of them you have history with, and obviously you're a former UFC fighter yourself. Have you seen some of these crossovers from Pitbull, from
Oh
Patchy
yeah,
Mix as well?
I watch the sport all the time.
Yeah,
I've been watching all of them, man. Aaron Pico, Patchy Mix, Patricio. Yeah, man, it's a tough thing to go from one organization and be a top dog, and then headed into a whole new world where there's other top dogs, and not only that, you have a lot of pressure. I feel like coming from another organization and going into the UFC, like you're almost like expected to be as good as you were in the other organization, but at the same time, they're putting you against guys who have been around and
yeah,
established in the organization. I mean, LaRon Murphy was on an 8 fight win streak, against Aaron Pico. That's just like two different worlds at the time. But Patchy makes he had a good, a good fight coming in. It was short notice though. What 3 weeks? He had a
yeah,
3 week
3 weeks.
3 week notice to fight 8 fight win streak Mario Bautista. Like that's tough, man. They're not giving these guys any easy fights, so it's always tough to see, man. But they'll make the adjustments. I believe Patchy will make the adjustments. Aaron Pico, once he heals up, will make the adjustments. We saw Patricio do really good against Dan Ige. Another top dog in the UFC. We belong in the UFC. We belong with these top tier names. It's just a matter of these guys getting comfy. I've been there before. I was in there for 6 years, and it's definitely a different road in the UFC. It's there's more famous people watching. The lights feel different. There's a lot more media, a lot more hype. So it's just a matter of them getting comfy, and I think they all will. They're all top athletes.
Yeah. From what it sounds like, you're almost rooting for them, right?
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm rooting them. I'm rooting for anybody I compete against. Honestly, I'm
yeah,
just like, once you fight somebody, you just have like this weird, almost like mutual respect for them. And yeah, man, I'm always cheering for all the guys that I fought against, even guys that beat me in the past. Like Rob Font. I reach out to Rob Font all the time. I reach out to like Cejudo, all these other guys, because at the end of the day, we're all fighters and we all have the same goal. But it's a hard lifestyle. It really
it
is.
is. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a hard lifestyle.
Yeah. I don't know if this has trickled down to you, and I don't know how involved you are on social media as well, like reading the comments and all that. But something that I've noticed with these like crossovers was how much sort of the UFC fan, and I'm not just saying the MMA fan, the UFC fan specifically has kind of shit on other organizations, like, oh, you
Yeah.
see, like, fraud check, this,
B
that,
level, B
and
level. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So has that bothered you at all? And has some of those comments trickled down to you? Obviously, you haven't crossed over, but I
Yeah.
don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, obviously, when I went from the UFC, I was like I was like top three when I left, top two when I left, and then I go into Bellator. I get the belt 2 fights later. A lot of people obviously in the comments like, "Oh, he couldn't do that in the UFC." This guy,
Right.
he ain't really nothing. B-level fighter. I've dealt with that my whole life and my whole career, especially being Anthony Pettis' younger brother. I had a lot of, like you need a Showtime kick off the cage or knock people out or you're not nothing type of thing. So I learned how to deal with that. And I really don't pay attention to social media too much. I'm not too involved on social media, and I'm not here to be an influencer or any of that. I'm here to just strictly fight and enjoy my life. So it definitely probably doesn't give me much opportunities being that way, but that's just who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I love to fight, and if you are influenced by me, cool. But I'm not gonna be over here like, oh, like this is my daily blog. That just ain't
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there are a little. Those comments are a little unfair, right? Because, for example, Eddie
yeah,
Alvarez like lost his first fight in the UFC, right? I think it was against like Cowboy Cerrone or something, and then went on to become a champion, right? And we've seen also people from the UFC cross over to Bellator or PFL and
yeah.
did not have the success that people would think they would have, right?
Yeah, I mean, even my brother Anthony Pettis, he went into the UFC being a WC champion. He went into the
Hmm.
UFC, fought Clay Guida, lost the fight, ended up becoming champion a couple years later. So yeah, it's definitely unfair, and I think the fans really don't understand um, MMA outside of the UFC, which makes sense. It's so mainstream. It's kind of like street ball compared to the NBA. It's like some people watch street ball, but a lot of people, everybody watches the NBA type of thing.
Yeah. And also something I want to ask you. You've mentioned your age a couple of times. We're the same age. I was born in. Well, no, we're not the same age. I was born in '92. You're '93. I'm
That's
turning
all right.
33.
Oh, my man.
Actually, in a couple of weeks.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
How do you feel at this time competing? Because I feel like for like the longest time, you're always looked at like Anthony Pettis' little brother, and you
Yeah.
were young, right? So you're like the kid, the prospect, but like you're getting close to your mid 30s. You're still in your early 30s, and you already won a major belt. You've defended it. You're hunting for another one. How do you feel right now at this stage in your career, and how much longer do you think you'll do this for?
Man, I feel honestly almost I feel like it's cliche. I feel like a lot of 30-year-olds say this. Like, yo, I feel better in my 30s than I do in my 20s. But I personally feel that way, like just as a mentality, the mentality I had in my 20s, I was just kind of like going with the flow of things, kind of letting people walk all over me. Now in my 30s, I kind of have a goal. I know where I want to go. I stand up for myself. I make sure that I'm just the person that I want to be nowadays. So yeah, I definitely change for sure. Big change just in everything.
Yeah. Has the balance between you and your brother? I'm sure I have an older brother as well. I'm sure you guys have play wrestle or throw down and stuff. Has that balance, because he is stepping outside of his prime? Has that balance kind of shifted one way or the other?
Yeah, no, I feel like we're both chill. Like me and Anthony, we're old now too, man.
Okay.
We're just kind of we're just chill dudes. He's doing really good outside of MMA. He's a businessman.
Yeah.
He's a perfect role model for me. He helped me get into the fight game, and now like he's showing me there's ways outside the fight game as well. So, yeah, me and Anthony, we've always been cool, man. And when we were younger, we always used to bump heads. I was a little softer brother, and he was a tough brother trying to make me a tougher dude. And
Yeah.
yeah, as we got older, the sport got us closer together. And man, what a journey the Pettis brothers have been on. We've been very blessed, man. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are. I would dare to say you guys are the most successful brother, like sibling pairing, right? Like he was obviously WC champion, UFC champion. You are Bellator champion, and with a chance of becoming a PFL champion. I don't know what other like siblings have had, just as much success. I guess the Diaz brothers have had tons of success, but maybe not more like media wise, right? Like
Yeah,
popularity wise. I don't know about
for
like
sure.
sporting wise.
Yeah, man. I think we were definitely up there. I had this conversation a couple days ago. The brothers situation. I kind of had the same response. I'm like, definitely, as far as like accolades and like belts,
Yeah.
the Pettis brothers. If I get this PFL belt for sure, that sets us at number one. But when you think of sibling brothers, you always think of the Diaz brothers, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
Even me, I always think of the Diaz's, man. Like Nick and Nate have been around for years. The first two brothers to really come in and like make themselves known, and just their personality. They're true fighters, you know. Like me, I feel like I'm a martial artist, and like when you think of Diaz's, you think of these guys are fighters. These motherfuckers are real
Yeah,
fighters.
for sure.
Yeah,
100%. All right, Sergio. Well, pleasure talking to you,
my
brother.
man.
Best of
Thank you.
luck on October 3rd, man. And yeah, looking forward to this fight against Magomed Magomedov. It's going to be a good one. Hopefully, winner gets a title shot. I think that'd be nice to see with Alves.
Hell yeah, my man. Thank you, and happy early birthday, bro. Enjoy
Thank you,
it.
man.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
sir. Yes, sir.